Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 5B, and this is my pseudo kind of first official garden tour of 2023. I have all my peppers and all of my tomatoes finally out in my beds. They're not, okay, I need to preface this by saying the garden isn't fully planted out yet. I do have some zucchini seeds and some other flower seeds and bean seeds planted out, but there are still a few things that I still need to get in ground and planted out. But here today, I think I'm going to start the garden tour season. Now, I was hoping that I would have a slightly nicer morning to do this tour with you guys, but I'm actually in between storms right now, so I'm hoping I can show you everything because I do want this documented for my own records and so I can show you guys kind of where everything is at, especially since a lot of these things you have started with me inside and they're now officially out here. But without further ado, let's get into the garden. So I think I'm gonna start off this tour from this view so we can go and do all of the in-ground stuff around the fire pit. I did have an abundance of tomatoes. There are about 50 tomato varieties planted out here. There are about 7 varieties that I didn't have room for that will be gifted to friends and family, but we're gonna look at what we've got in here. So I've got these cages, and I don't even know if you can tell at this point, but there are tomatoes in the ground here. These are some of my Tiger Roma varieties. I put 2 per cage just because I am going to keep things maintained and I don't mind if these get a little wild together. And I've also started the idea of planting chives and strawberries underneath my peach trees. So this is my first peach tree. Doesn't look like he's doing the greatest, but I'm hoping he pulls through. We also have more tomatoes around here. Everything's so small at this point, it's like, I don't know how to show you. But once again, this is more of my Tiger Roma varieties. I have a blush, a pink, a green, and then a Tigerilla. But right here is my Paul Robeson, mainly because I didn't have room in the beds for him. And then over here is my orange peach. There's actually 2 in there because I used the last of my seeds and I want to guarantee that I have a fruit I can save seeds from. Back there, see if I can focus, you can see my test plot. So I don't know if you saw the video or not. I will link it for you if you haven't. But this is 100 square feet of a no-till cover crop compost bed that I have donated to a local university for study. I still can plant whatever varieties I want after the cover crop, but they want me to try certain methods and see how it affects the soil. So this is how the cover crop is doing. Probably mid-June or so, I will be cutting that back and covering that over so it dies back, and then I will be planting in it. Here we've got a dwarf tomato, a small pepper plant, and some green onions. And these are my honeyberries. And I'm gonna do a full circle because we also have another tomato here and a ground cherry here and a science experiment going on over there. So I have the biggest thistle plant known to man growing in my backyard right underneath that fabric and that broken pot. I am trying to smother the heck out of it. I don't necessarily want to use anything that will disrupt the soil balance, so I'm trying this. It'll probably be there for a full year. I will look at it at the end of the season and see if I kill that back or not. And I also want to make note about this tomato cage. So this is a semi-determinate tomato plant. I will keep it maintained, and that's the only reason I am willing to use this tomato cage. So we're gonna loop back around and we're gonna start and walk over to this bed. But first, I want to show you how the corn is doing. So I mentioned planting out the corn in my compost area so I could stop erosion. And as you can see, there's like a little corn. It's a radish that has gone to seed. I'm leaving it there. And there are more radishes and lettuces, and I think zinnias, baby sunflowers, just going crazy in there, and I'm just gonna leave them because it's over my compost pile. So walking over to the first bed, we've got radishes, and we've got peas, and a pepper that I didn't have room in the other bed, just hanging out here. In the back, I did plant out some zucchinis and a calendula plant. And in this little pop-out area, I planted some nasturtium seeds. Yes, I know these beds are starting to fall apart. They have been with me for 3 years now. I'm hoping at the end of this season that I can pull these out and build new beds, maybe expand out this area and do some fun things. But for now, these work. Over here, we have our first set of Roma style tomatoes, which is why I am willing to use these cages. And down here, planted in with what little garlic did come up in this bed, I have all of my hot peppers and my not hot peppers. So things like the natapinos, the habanadas, the jalapenos, the poblanos, and the ají peppers. Loop over here, and as you can see, we have baby carrots starting to come up, which I am very excited about that, coming up all throughout that bed. And then here in front, I've got some bush beans that I just planted out yesterday. And then of course, my tomatoes. I've got 2 rows of tomatoes, and then in the back are, I believe, these ones are my Walla Walla onions. Either that or they're the candy onions, because reflected the exact same in this bed back here is the same thing. I've got another variety of bush beans, 2 rows of tomatoes, and then either the candy or the Walla Walla. And in the back, that fountain area, I need to fill it with some more water, but that'll be my zinnia bed. So I will get the seeds planted out this weekend. Back on this bed, we have got the potatoes starting to grow up and my white dandelion. So this was originally a garlic bed. I think I have a video of me planting this out, but none of these garlics made it. So it became a potato bed, and I am excited about seeing those potato plants. All along this back fence, it's a mess right now. I need to clean up that bed, but I'm hoping to do some sunflowers again. I need to pull out some of that grass, maybe put some more mulch down, and then I will plant those sunflower seeds at the same time I do the zinnia seeds. And here, okay, so this is the first empty spot of the garden. So in front of all these tomatoes, I don't have anything planted out yet. But of course, once again, I've got 2 rows of tomatoes, and then I have the red onions in the back there. And I haven't pointed it out, but in the middle of all of my tomato rows, I have planted marigolds, and then on the corners right here, I have planted calendulas. So I do have some of those beneficial flowers in there as well. I still haven't decided what I want to plant in front of these tomatoes. I'm up for suggestions. I have some pink amaranth that I am thinking about doing, but I don't know about that yet. And then right here, we have our second set of Roma style tomatoes. And so whenever I do a Roma bed, it's always just 4 cages, 4 plants. And then here we have our sweet pepper bed. Well, at least 12 of the sweet pepper plants. What I couldn't fit, like I said, I have that one snowball pepper in that other bed. And then a couple of sweet peppers in pots. And then this last bed, this one's not gonna look very exciting. I have okra planted there, can you tell? And then the one garlic bed that has done the absolute best. This thing is living its life, and I am for it. I will briefly show you the disaster of this corner. So this is my native wild flower kind of style section of the bed. We did a little bit of a cleanup. We've got some, what is it, milkweed? A lot of milkweed coming up there, but I will be planting it out with some other flowers when I do the sunflowers and the zinnias after I clean up these beds a little bit more. We also have, this thing just makes me laugh, we have a surprise hollyhock just hanging out right there, and of course a butterfly weed come up right there. This is the view coming back towards the fire pit. I didn't show you these collections of pots right here, but I have one tomato plant in the back there and a couple of sweet peppers. These are the variegated sweet peppers, and then a clump of green onions. But now I'm gonna walk you this way. We're gonna go past those honeyberry bushes again. And over here, in this pot, we have our first butterfly pea plant. I'm hoping a few more pop up, but even if just this one comes up, I'm excited. The rest of our garlic, a tomato plant that I'm like, I'm just gonna stick here. If this causes chaos, it causes chaos. That's how I'm living my life right now. I'm gonna back up a little bit so we can see this whole bed. In front of these are peas and tomato plants. I have a section of garbanzo beans. Obviously, they're not coming up yet. I just planted them. But the tomato plants are all bumblebee cherry tomatoes of various different kinds. I've got purple, I've got pink, I've got the sunrise, and then I've got the Bosque blue, I believe it's called. But they alternate. So I've got a tomato plant, I've got peas, I've got tomato plant, I've got peas. I have tomato plant with peas of a tomato plant. And in the back there, going to seed, you can kind of see it, is my bok choy. The 2 N varieties of bok choy have bolted on me. We have hit some 89-degree weather, and it's like, nope, just nope. But this middle variety right here, I might actually get to harvest some of the bok choy. And as you can see, it's come up in clumps. Okay, so when I sowed them, I watered a little too heavily. I was very heavy-handed with it, and so all the seeds kind of just washed into different areas. So that's how they came up. I've interplanted them with some of my calendula plants, and as the year goes on, I'll probably change them out for something else. And right here, we've got a big grouping of calendula, 2 more cherry tomatoes. One's a speckled Roman and one's a black strawberry. In the back, we've got some lettuce that's starting to come up, and in the middle, that clump is peas that I'm gonna try and get to not bush, but maybe grab onto one of those trellises. The stuff coming up in the bed is pineberry from 2 years ago. So originally in this section, I had some Dollar Tree style stacking pots, and I planted out pine berries and strawberries. The strawberries were not very happy about life, but the pine berries have just continued to try, and I have to say I love it for it. I haven't gotten any fruit off of these yet. I didn't last year. Maybe I will this year, because let me show you. Oh, it's not there anymore. But I have seen some flowers on these. Will I get them before the bugs do? I don't know. See, you can see the start of a flower over there. But that leads me to my greens bed. So I've got the Anna spinach. I have a mix of lettuces going on, and then I've got some strawberry spinach coming up. In the back, I've got some Chinese celery and some pink plume celery. And then I am limping along this poor Brad's Atomic Grape tomato. I tried growing this last year. The plant it didn't want to. And so I'm determined to try this variety of tomatoes because everyone keeps talking about them. Back here, we have the agastache and the thyme. The thyme is looking a little, I don't know, not the happiest, but it smells wonderful. And then here, I just got this yesterday, but this is a pink lemonade blueberry plant. I'm going to show you in a second, but I have a couple of blueberry plants on my side yard, and this is to replace one of them because it didn't survive the winter. So we're going to go this way. This is the other peach tree. And as you can see, I'm doing the same thing under this one. I am doing strawberries and chives. See how that goes. I'm thinking about, I don't know, maybe cucumbers, maybe some of my pumpkin type squashes here in this open area. I don't know. But up here is where I was just talking about. These are my blueberry plants. As you can see, only one of them has made it. Planted both of these last year, and I guess this lower one I didn't quite get planted deep enough, or this hill just sees so much erosion. I got a bigger plant this year, hoping that would help so the roots are deeper and they can get more established quicker. But we'll see how this goes. I am hoping to possibly get blueberries this year because I definitely didn't last year. And last but not least, we have this tiny indigo, I think it's an indigo black, an indigo blue cocoa cherry tomato. I put it probably in the worst spot ever, but I'm like, I have a trellis, I have a spot, I'm not sure what I want to do with it. Let's put a tomato here and see what happens. It's pretty much how my tomato planting went this year. This is a full view of of the garden in May. So I get that the garden isn't much to look at right now, but by doing these garden tours weekly, I'm hoping that you can see the change of the garden and how things are growing, and I can kind of keep a catalog of everything that's going on. As you can see, I am showing you some of my failures along with some of my success. I want to make sure that I document everything, so I'm just going to show you it all. I do hope this weekend to pick up some eggplant. I'm thinking that towards the end of May, I'm going to start my pumpkin squashes in containers so that once I have killed back this cover crop, they can go in that space. And as I said, I've got that back in-ground bed that I need to clean up and get the flowers planted in. So in the next couple weeks, I think the garden is going to start to fill out even more. Of course, all of this is going to really start to take off, which I'm excited about, as long as some of these ridiculous storms don't accidentally take something out. We'll see. So if you want to follow me on my 2023 gardening journey, if you're not subscribed, subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I also have an Instagram account where you can follow me a little bit more frequently for updates and pictures and all those fun things. Otherwise, like I said, I'm going to be doing these garden tours weekly if I can. That's my goal, every Friday to get a garden tour video out. So with that being said, I hope to see you again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces.